Hello internet friends, Mitch Tweedy telling you or helping you get your gas generator started. If you've been cranking on it for a while, it's a good tip to just relax. This is a simple inanimate object. It just needs spark, it needs good fuel, it needs air. And most of these newer generators actually have a low oil pressure switch. So if you've been cranking on it for a while, check the oil, make sure the oil is at the mark, otherwise it won't start. Also, if it's sitting at a weird angle, that could also tell the switch you're low on oil. So get her flat, let the oil drain down, and tell that low oil pressure switch everything's cool. A lot of folks mess up the gas. These small motors want a high octane gas. They want premium. That's a 91 octane. 88 is probably fine, but get 91 if you can. So if you have old gas or like the 87 pump gas, go ahead and dump that out into a can, put that in your car, and get some fresh 91 octane gas. Most of these Jennies will have a on-off switch for the gas, and that's a good tip for when you go to shut it down, is you want to turn the fuel off and let it run itself out of fuel, and that will keep fuel out of the carburetor. Sometimes it's a year or two between the times you use the generator, and that old fuel will gum up the carburetor. So every time you shut off your generator, turn the fuel off and let it run itself out of fuel. But go ahead, we'll turn the fuel on, and most generators will have a choke. Some have an automatic choke. I don't like those. This one's a little lever here. Some have a pull knob on the front. You want it choked for your first 2-3 pulls. It might sputter and die. That's a good thing. Maybe give it 2 more pulls, it'll probably start. If not, take the choke off or halfway off and give it another couple of pulls. Should fire right up. If that does not work, go ahead and give it 10 pulls with the choke on, 10 pulls with the choke off. You can flood these, so sometimes it does help to just take an hour break and come back. But if you're really still having troubles, find the air filter, make sure it's not caked with grease and dust. Also find your spark plug. Takes a special socket with a little rubber O-ring to unscrew it but pull it out. If it's carboned up, you can just scrape it off with your pocket knife. They're a couple of bucks, maybe 5 or 10 at the worst, so don't hesitate to buy a couple new spark plugs and have them in reserve. But as long as it's got good spark, as long as it can breathe, as long as you got good fuel, the fuel is on and the choke is in the appropriate position, she should fire right up. You don't want to run it with the choke on. The choke is just designed to help it start. That gives it more fuel, less oxygen, lets it start. But if you run it very long with the choke on, it's going to start to sputter and run poorly. So that tells you to turn the choke off. New Jennies, run it with the choke on for 20-40 seconds. An older generator might need a minute or two. And if it's a really old Jenny with a gummed up carburetor, you might have to play with it. The choke all the way on or 3/4 off, you might have to find the happy place. So that's typically it. There may be an on-off switch. Don't get fooled by the quiet and loud switch. That's not an on-off switch. It'll start in either position. And some have circuit overloads, so have a look at any sort of button, and if it's protruding outwards, could have been an overload. Also, you don't want anything plugged in when you start this generator. That's an unnecessary load. Start it, run it with the choke on for a couple seconds, take the choke off, let it warm up for a minute or two, then go ahead and plug stuff in, get to work. When you're done for the day, turn the fuel off, let it run itself out of fuel, and you should be good to go. Good luck.